This. The girl was imprisoned in the basement. Desperately resist. Not only will they be beaten up, you'll still be insulted. After a man releases his emotions, start standing by the window observing the girl's every move. Make sure there are no accidents before returning upstairs with peace of mind. Here. The police have come to the house to investigate the disappearance of the man's youngest daughter, Annie. Upon seeing a man, hurry up to the police, showing a very anxious appearance. But the police don't have a clue either, they can only wait for notification first. This relieved the previously nervous man. The man's name is Tang. He is a man with a strong desire for control. Just a few days ago, he went on a date with his boyfriend tonight. Give Annie a lesson. Annie is very dissatisfied with this, so he discussed with his mother and sister. I have to leave home as soon as I graduate. Unfortunately, this happened to be heard by Tang, who was passing by outside the door. Regarding this, Tang plans to imprison Anne. The detention location was chosen as the air raid shelter in the basement, because this is one's own private territory. Only oneself has the key. A few days later, Tang took advantage of his wife's outing to buy groceries. May I borrow his help to lift things? Deceived Annie into a bomb shelter. When Annie reacts, it's already too late. Not through. Can only call for help at the gate. But no one can hear Anne's cries for help in this soundproof area. In the meantime, Anne's boyfriend came to see Annie, but in the end, Tang cheated Annie out of time, on the grounds that she had a new boyfriend. 21 days passed in a blink of an eye. Tang returned to the air raid shelter again. Not only did it bring chairs, and also brought some daily necessities for Annie. She only took out a small cake, celebrated Anne's birthday, then she handed Annie a plastic bag. Open it and take a look. It's a sexy nightgown. Don couldn't wait for Annie to wear it. Wait for Annie to come out again, causing Tang's eyes to go straight. Don't see Annie being so obedient. Plan to have and wish one by one. Good. Tang readily agreed, but this is conditional, and was feeling down afterwards. He doesn't want to live his life like this. So looking at the can lid in front of me, Annie thought of a blow. Wait until the next day. Annie changed her clothes early on, standing at the door waiting for the sugar to come over. Don't see Annie so witty, feeling very satisfied. Little did they know that Anne had a murder weapon hidden behind her, but Anne couldn't even fight Tang. It was ultimately a waste of effort. Time flies by, and has been imprisoned for nearly a year at this time, and under the torture of Tang, he had a big belly. Unfortunately, sudden rupture of amniotic fluid. This left Anne, who was pregnant for the first time, unsure of how to respond. Women are about to give birth, but she can't go to the hospital. There's no family around to accompany me either. I can only rely on what I learned in books to deliver my child. Fortunately, in the end, mother and child safety, escape from danger. The woman's name is Anne, imprisoned here by my father Tang. Except for the Tang family, everyone believes that Anne is missing, but in fact, Annie suffers torture every day in the air raid shelter in the basement. Don brought fresh food to Annie for the sake of the child's face, and he specifically left a knife in the bag to test if Annie still had any resistance. Of course Annie won't fall for it, just took a box of cookies and walked away. 4 years have passed in a blink of an eye. Annie is pregnant again. As a reward, sugar has been delivered to the TV set. Meanwhile, I can't find Anne's mother upstairs. Tears wash my face all day long, full of hostility towards the indifferent Tang. Besides, Anne's boyfriend has also been missing Anne. She doesn't believe that Anne has a crush on someone else, so I occasionally come to his house to watch. I happened to meet Anne's sister Amy today. It was precisely because Anne's boyfriend learned the truth. Turns out Annie is actually missing, and Anne has always felt that Anne's disappearance has nothing to do with her father Don, but struggling to find evidence. At this time, Anne had already given birth to 2 children. There is another child playing in the air raid shelter with him in his belly, and this is apart from missing my boyfriend. Anne's happiest moment. Wait until evening arrives. Amy shared what Anne's boyfriend said with her mother. My mother had a big argument with Tang over this, believing that sugar shouldn't lie. In dispute, the sugar key fell on the sofa. Amy saw the situation, pick up the key and go to the basement, searching everywhere for Annie hidden there. But she didn't notice the stability behind the bookshelf, because he appeared behind him before he could continue looking for sugar, and kicked Amy out. Annie, who is giving birth in a bomb shelter, doesn't know. At this moment, under a series of torture, the 3rd child was safely born. At this moment, and had a plan in her mind. That's because the anti-void space is small. Give the child to the mother upstairs for upbringing. Tang initially disagreed, but when I heard Annie say, scale of scale, Tang suddenly compromised. Wait until the next morning. There's an extra basket at the door. Woman opens the door, found a baby left at the doorstep. There is also a letter mixed with the package. It was written by the missing daughter Anne, wanting a mother to help take care of the child. Mother is very excited. Hurry to carry the child into the house. I didn't even notice a small note below. Unfortunately, this happened to be seen by my father Tang. Don looked at the distress message on the note, angry, and ran to the underground air raid shelter as punishment. She made Annie wear a red dress as a gesture of mockery. Days passed by day. Blink of an eye. Annie has been in the basement for over 10 years, and she was pregnant with her 4th child. Due to Anne's imminent delivery, Tang cannot act recklessly. So looking at Anne's beautiful eldest daughter, I couldn't help but feel malicious thoughts in my heart. Fortunately, Annie stopped it in a timely manner. I didn't let my daughter fall into the trap. Wait until night time. There is water dripping from the roof of the shelter. Annie knows it's raining outside. Meanwhile, Annie also realized that she had a chance to survive. I saw her standing on the stool. Have the child pass the spoon. Subsequently, continuous excavation was carried out at the leaking area. After unremitting efforts, I really dug it up. But there is a grid above it. Annie can only use a flashlight to flash a bright light for help. Fortunately, this was seen by neighbors walking dogs nearby. Unfortunately, neighbors will inform about this matter. Just give it to Tang. After Tang learned about it, I immediately realized that Annie was the one behind it. He hurried to the air raid shelter, used force to warn Annie, but this also caused Anne's fourth child to die prematurely. The two children are very upset. I don't know why my mother Anne is always beaten. I don't know why they can't go out either. So I had a big argument with Annie. Regarding this, Annie can no longer control her inner emotions. Subsequently, falling asleep in the longing for my boyfriend, because this is the driving force behind her survival. After Annie wakes up, looking like I've grown up, a sensible child, decide not to hide anymore, told the two children about their true relationship with Tang. The two children were extremely shocked. But more of it is the heartache for my mother Anne. Time flies by. Sugar has reached retirement age. This also means that households will lose their source of income. To reduce household expenses, Tang decided to kill the child in the air raid shelter. At night, Tang lied to the garage, insert one end of the pipe into the air vent of the air raid shelter, stuff the other end into the car exhaust pipe, then start the car, intended to use this as a means of silence, but unexpectedly, Anne's third child, who was raised upstairs, walked in midway. Turns out the child thought Sugar was feeling sad about retirement, so I want to give Tang a hug. This embrace has influenced Tang. Tang immediately turned off the engine and went to the bomb shelter to observe the situation of Anne the child, only leave after ensuring safety. Since then, the relationship between Tang and Anne's third son is getting better and better, and he even held a banquet for his third son at home. I don't remember the three people in the bomb shelter at all. When she comes back to the bomb shelter, Anne's eldest daughter is already dying from asthma. Fortunately, Tang still has a trace of conscience. Under Anne's plea, Tang agrees to take two people to the hospital, and warned Annie not to be born after going upstairs. 20 years apart, Annie finally saw the scene outside again, but she didn't dare to speak up. We can only go to the hospital first during the Sui and Tang dynasties, under the rescue efforts of the hospital, as eldest daughter was successfully rescued. Besides, Annie took advantage of Tang's lack of attention, hurried to escape. 20 years of imprisonment after successfully reporting to the police. Let Anne suffer all the humiliation. Now that we have finally seen the light of day again, everyone expects something beautiful to happen, and beauty also arrived as scheduled.